Hello and welcome to a new video here on my channel here at commaik. Today in this video we are once again talking about lawn irrigation, more specifically about controlling a lawn irrigation system. In the background you can see my lawn irrigation system for the east area. In addition, I also have flower beds, hedges, trees and shrubs, all of which are watered automatically. I control the irrigation with a Hunter X-Core irrigation controller. This device works flawlessly and is really very reliable, however it isn't smart. I can program it, but if I'm not there I can't change the existing programming. I want to change that now. I want to make my garden irrigation smart. For this I'll be using the Hunter HydraWise irrigation controller. With this irrigation controller, I can not only program individual times, set up irrigation zones, and integrate the weather forecast, but also add additional sensors for soil moisture or air humidity. No, I can also control the irrigation at any time remotely using the app. And if you are interested in how all of this works, just stay tuned. That's exactly what this video is about. In this video, I will show you how I replace my existing Hunter X-Core irrigation controller with the Hunter HydraWise, while simply reusing the existing wiring. Afterwards, I'll show you how to program the device both on the computer and on the app on your phone. But first, a few brief notes on the basic setup of a lawn irrigation system. In the background here you can see my lawn irrigation system with the Hunter MP Rotators. These are the rotary sprinklers that water in a nice circular pattern. They work perfectly, they're extremely water efficient, they don't need much pressure and not a lot of water. They also work in places where, for example, only a small pump is running. In this area, I also have my large i20 gear-driven sprinklers running. Now I just want to show you what the wiring looks like. I've installed 3 zones here. At each valve you can see a total of 2 wires. The valves are controlled by direct current. That means when voltage is applied, the valve opens. If no voltage is applied, the valve stays closed. I've connected the ground wire from each individual valve together in this box. In the end, everything runs through a single cable directly into the irrigation controller. And then in addition, the power cable from each valve goes to its own connection point inside the irrigation controller. This way, with my Hunter X-Core 801, I can control up to 8 valves in total. And with the new Hunter HydraWise, I can even manage 12 valves. But I could expand the whole system even further with additional modules. Alternatively, of course, you can also open each irrigation zone manually. And then with just half a turn on the valve, the sprinklers pop up and water the lawn. And down here in my basement, I have now installed my Hunter X-Core irrigation controller. Here on this hollow wall, the device is mounted along with a small manual that I always keep on top. And the transformer is up here. The cable runs behind the wall and is plugged in here. I have good news about the transformer. This transformer from the Hunter X-Core is the same one that can also be used with the Hunter HydraWise. They are identical models. On the back side of this wall I have my water supply. This is where all the control cables for the irrigation controller come out of the empty conduit. The cables are fed through the back of the irrigation controller. You can see that here. This is the cable for the power supply. A backup battery is installed to save the data, especially the date and time. Here I have the ground wire and for each of my 7 irrigation zones the corresponding power supply. Very important, this yellow-green cable is not a protective earth. Many electricians will want to beat me up for this. No, it really is the ground wire. I haven't installed a power cable here, but a control cable. I know this is not a protective earth connection. You can also clearly see that on the outside of the casing. The electrical cable is securely connected to the various valves, and with this single dedicated cable, all of the valves are reliably supplied with the essential ground connection. The Hunter X-Core irrigation controller is still a truly worthwhile option for anyone who genuinely does not require a modern, smart, app-based control system for their irrigation needs. For me, it's enough if I program the device once and then it just runs on its own. I can set up multiple zones and multiple start times per day. The X-Core is actually very capable, even if it looks a bit old-fashioned at first glance. If you don't need the new features, you can definitely keep working with the old device. It works flawlessly. However, I would like to use the app control so I can change the programs remotely if needed. I will remove the X-Core part, then install the HydraWise and reconnect the cables. After that, I will set up the HydraWise in my Wi-Fi network. And an important note on this, you should use the X-Core if you don't have Wi-Fi reception at the installation site. If you want to use the Hunter HydraWise, you need an installation location with good Wi-Fi reception. Unfortunately, the HydraWise does not have a LAN port. It actually only works via wireless connection. If you don't have that, there's no point in starting at all, or you can install a Wi-Fi repeater to improve the signal. The Hunter HydraWise comes in a small, inconspicuous package. As you can see on the packaging, this device is smart and can be controlled directly with a computer, tablet, or phone. It is available in versions with 6 zones, 12 zones, and expansion modules with 12 zones each. So you can expand the whole system modularly. The accessories are also quite manageable, since you really don't need much. You get a well-written installation manual. The manual is available in various languages, including German. And of course, the controller is included as well. It is not very large and relatively light. There are mounting screws included, as well as the transformer. And depending on where you live, you get either the 220 volt or 110 volt transformer. The transformer is connected to the irrigation controller using these 2 wire leads. There are also versions for outdoor use. In those, the cables from the transformer are not connected to the irrigation controller. The electronics are built directly into the HydraWise and are water protected. Here you can see the size of the device. It's relatively compact. The display is also fairly compact. On the back, you'll find the technical specifications, and you can open the side panel using the 2 latches on the side. And here you can see the connections up close. Connection for the power supply with the 2 wires from the transformer. You can connect sensors, and with this model, 12 power cables to control the valves individually. The operating principle works as follows. You connect the cables and program the individual zones. The controller will then open the valves in sequence, just as you have programmed it. And if, for example, you have a lawn irrigation system with 5 zones, and your pump or water supply can't handle watering all 5 zones at once, then the controller will automatically start with the first zone and water for the programmed amount of time. As soon as that's done, the second zone will start for its set time. This means that not all zones are watered at the same time, but one after the other. And this way you can make excellent use of the available water pressure, water capacity, and flow rate. As I said, this whole system doesn't just work for lawn irrigation, but also for bed irrigation. For example, I use drip pipes from Rainbird. I've installed them in my beds and hedges. This way the plants are perfectly supplied with water even during dry periods. But enough talking, I'm going to take this thing now, head over to my other basement and remove the Hunter X core there. I'll show you my wiring and then install the Hunter HydraWise. But if you've enjoyed the video so far, go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. There will be a second video in which I'll show you how to optimally program the irrigation controller. And if you want to know where you can get the HydraWise, check out the video description. Everything I'm installing and using here is linked for you there. If you shop using my links, you support my channel financially because I receive a commission. But you don't have any disadvantages. On the contrary, you can feel good knowing you've helped me out. Thank you very much for your support. Now let's head to the other basement. To uninstall the Hunter X-Core irrigation controller, of course I'll first disconnect the power to the device. Even though it's only 24 volts, I don't need to risk getting an electric shock. The plug is pulled and the device shows me that no power is available anymore. Now I can open the terminal connections one by one in order and prepare the cables for the new installation on the Hunter HydraWise. I'll start with the power supply. These are these 2 cables. And then, in my specific case, the 2 essential ground wires meticulously follow, which were securely connected together on the C terminal. Now, with careful precision, I proceed to open the screw terminals for the 7 individual valve connections, ensuring each connection point is readily accessible for the next crucial steps in the wiring process. Both the Hunter X-Core and the Hunter HydraWise irrigation controllers are equipped with additional input terminals. Specifically, you can effectively utilize the dedicated P terminal to control an external pump, and it also provides the capability to seamlessly connect various additional sensors for enhanced system monitoring and functionality. Both devices support this. I can easily disconnect my cables because the installed control cables are individually numbered. I specifically bought them that way back then, so I would know which cable belongs where. If you want to know which cable I'm using here, just check the description below the video. mounted the new Hunter HydraWise irrigation controller to my drywall with the 2 screws. And this time I also used hollow wall anchors. On the back of the controller there are pre-punched openings through which I have now routed the cables. I ran the 2 cables out through new holes in the wall for this purpose. Alternatively, I could have broken out this section down here and run the cables into the device from below. Now I have one more task left. I need to reconnect the power supply up here. It doesn't matter in which order the cable is connected here. And after that, I need to reconnect my control cables individually to zones 1 to 7 and 12. My 2 ground wires, which I can easily identify as the red-green cables, are connected to the 2 C terminals down here. All the cables are now connected to the appropriate terminal for their zone. I compressed the cables a bit more to make sure there's enough space. Now I can simply slide the cover back on. Next, I can plug the power cord back into the socket and start the device. When starting it for the first time, I of course need to configure the basic settings of the device. Among other things, I can already set up the Wi-Fi credentials at this point. For this, I have the option to use the Hunter app or to do everything offline, meaning to use the entire device without an internet connection. In the next step, the device wants to connect to my Wi-Fi network. To do this, it will scan all frequencies in the 2.4 GHz range. I click OK, and the device shows me all the Wi-Fi networks that are available to me. Here I can select a Wi-Fi access point and confirm the connection to this network by clicking Confirm. Next, I will of course need to carefully enter the correct network password in order to successfully gain access. After I have established the Wi-Fi connection, I end up in the main menu of the HydraWise. Here, I can now make all the settings directly on the device. In my opinion, it works, but it's cumbersome. The display is relatively small and you really have to click very precisely to hit the right spot. Under Settings, you can make adjustments, including configuration. The device can be reset here. You can make offline settings, for example, disable Wi-Fi or check the time. The time is automatically set via the internet connection, so you don't have to set it yourself. The sensors can each be calibrated here individually, provided they are connected. And the offline programs can also be set here. All of this works directly on the device. In my opinion though, it's much easier to do via the app or on the computer. And that's why I'm going to take you along now and show you how I make the settings there. To use HydraWise online, you need a customer account, which you have to create beforehand. Afterwards, you can give the device a name and also enter the serial number. The serial number is located on the back of the device and can alternatively be entered later as well. Since I have already connected my HydraWise directly to the Wi-Fi on the device, I can skip this step here and move on to the assistant for setting up the individual irrigation zones. The setup of the zones is also done through an assistant. In this assistant, I can first give the zone a name, assign it a number, and select a symbol. I can also specify whether the irrigation should be time-based, smart, or use virtual solar sync technology. A detailed description of the irrigation type is automatically displayed as soon as I select this function. I use the virtual solar sync technology because I have an established lawn, and this way I can irrigate particularly efficiently in the long term. The virtual solar sync replaces the traditional rain sensor with intelligent weather-based control. Instead of a physical transmitter, the system uses local weather data from the internet to automatically adjust irrigation according to temperature, precipitation, and sunlight. This way, the run times for each zone are extended during hot weather and shortened when it rains, all without any manual intervention. In the settings, I can specify the irrigation type, watering duration, and irrigation frequency for each zone. Additionally, irrigation can be further optimized with the predictive watering settings, for example, by making proactive adjustments when rain or a temperature increase is forecasted. This saves water, protects the plants, and makes garden irrigation significantly more efficient. The soak and cycle phases help ensure that the water is better absorbed by the soil. Instead of watering for the entire duration at once, it is divided into shorter intervals with breaks in between. This allows the water to soak in before the next cycle begins. This is ideal for slopes or heavy soils. In the advanced settings for each zone, the irrigation runtimes can be adjusted even more precisely. With the irrigation adjustment function, I can increase or decrease the recommended runtime as a percentage, for example in shady or particularly sunny areas. Using Learn from the next run's current conditions, the system automatically adjusts the runtime based on the actual conditions. And with Learn flow from the next run, the normal water flow of the zone is determined. Ideal for detecting deviations later on, such as leaks or clogged nozzles. This allows each zone to be controlled even more precisely and efficiently. With the Add Program Start Time function, I determine when and how a zone will be irrigated. I select an exact start time and determine the irrigation type, for example, weekly watering only in even or odd weeks, or irrigation with low priority. The latter is only carried out if there is still enough time left in the time window after the main zones. So it is secondary and ideal for less important areas such as border zones or beds with low water requirements. Additionally, I determine the irrigation days, either fixed weekdays, even or odd calendar days. This way, the watering can be precisely and efficiently tailored to the needs of the garden. When selecting zones, I specify which areas of my garden should be watered. Each zone represents its own pipeline with a solenoid valve, for example, for the lawn, the flower bed, or the hedge. I can assign a name to each zone, create an individual schedule, and adjust the runtimes as well as the irrigation type. This way, each area is watered exactly as is best suited for the soil, plants, and location. In the settings, I can activate a master valve or a pump start relay. The master valve is located directly behind the water connection and only opens when a zone is being watered. It serves as an additional safety measure to prevent unwanted water leakage in the event of a faulty solenoid valve. Alternatively, a pump start relay can be used, which switches on the connected pump when a zone is active. Both are controlled via the master valve output of the controller. Important, the controller only provides a 24-volt AC control signal. The relay must not switch a 230-volt load directly. The appropriate wiring diagram is displayed in the HydraWise Assistant and helps ensure correct connection. To ensure reliable weather-based control, the exact location address of the controller is stored in the settings. Based on this location, HydraWise automatically selects suitable weather stations in the area. In the free version, known as the Home Plan, an automatically selected weather station is used. If you want to manually select a specific station or compare several, you need the Paid Enthusiast Plan. This plan also offers more accurate weather data and additional features to optimize irrigation. The choice of weather station directly affects how precisely rain, temperature, and evaporation are recorded and how irrigation is adjusted accordingly. With the Assistant, I will now also set up my other zones accordingly. If you want to know more about the zones, the details, and the other features within the HydraWise application, then you should definitely subscribe to my channel now at the latest. Because I won't be going into more detail on this topic in this video, but rather in one of my next videos, I've shown you how I replaced my Hunter X-Core irrigation controller with the Hunter HydraWise and set up the zones. Basically everything works, and through the app I can also start and test the individual zones directly. You can see the device starts up immediately, everything works. But you've also seen that there are significantly more possibilities. You can add weather stations, you can set up virtual weather stations, you can connect sensors. If you want to know how all of this works and how to set it up properly in the app or on your PC, then check out my next video, because there will be a second part where I go much deeper into this topic. If you're interested in that, then subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. And if you enjoy these kinds of things and want to get yourself an irrigation computer, then take a look below the video. There you'll find, among other things, the relevant product links, as well as the playlist for all the other projects I've already built here, for all the other irrigation systems. I'm looking forward to your feedback, so feel free to write something in the comments section below the video. Give me tips and suggestions, I especially appreciate those. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.